This is a preview of the Baylor football schedule. I'm not predicting anything right now, and I'll go into more detail about stats for each team last year. Albany is the first game on September 3rd. Granted, they were 2-9 last year, but 5 of those losses were one possession, so they could easily been a better team than they showed. At BYU the following week, at September 10th, that's going to be a really, really good test for both teams. I do know BYU lost Tyler Algier to the NFL, but they've returned a lot of production, especially at quarterback with Jaron Hall. Texas State and Waco on September 17th. I'm not too worried about the Albany game in Texas State. It's more like the BYU, if I have to pick one of the non-cons as the toughest. Granted, I know Texas State last year was 29-20, but I think that was just the first game of the year jitters. And it's at home this time, so I don't think that would be much of an issue. Iowa State and Ames on September 24th. Thank goodness they get to play Iowa State, not during a cold winter month. And I think Iowa State's going to take a step back. They lost a lot of guys. It's more like, can they even make a ball? And if they do, will they be like a 7-win football team or 6-win football team? I can't see more than 8 wins for sure. Oklahoma State and Waco on October 1st. They lost a defensive coordinator. They lost some guys on defense. They even lost a guy that tried to score that last-second touchdown to the transfer portal. West Virginia on a Thursday night at West Virginia on October 13th. That is an interesting game to play on the road. And thank goodness it's not in November when that Baylor plays them. I do think West Virginia is going to improve, but they might not improve drastically like 10-win season. They had a 4 50-50 football games last year. But Baylor beat them by 25 last year, so I don't know if I could see a 25-point swing in 1 year in favor of West Virginia. Granted, I know Baylor lost some guys, but some guys on defense and the wide receivers are unknown, and the running back is unknown right now, but you know what I'm saying. It's hard to get 26 points to somebody else when the year before you beat them convincingly. I mean, it's the truth. I do think West Virginia they should be a bowl game team. It's just a matter of, can they get like the 8 wins? Because I think for them, 8 wins or less, Neil Brown is out of the job at West Virginia. Kansas and Waco on October 22nd. I'm not too worried about that, though I know Kansas has improved a lot during the year after that Baylor game. And granted, they played Baylor close in the first half, but in the second half, Baylor dominated. October 29th against Texas Tech in Lubbock, that is a trap game to me. Because the following game is at Oklahoma. And you get to play against your former assistant coach and some coaches that were GAs at Baylor. And in fact, recently, Brian Nance left Baylor for a better job at Texas Tech. It's not because of the money. It's because of some communication issue. It's not like for a lifestyle thing. It was, he wanted more power, I think, and more communication and more freedom on that instead of a strict thing. And, you know, it's going to be an interesting game at Oklahoma on November 5th. That starts the key stretch for me from the Oklahoma game to the last game of the season. At Oklahoma, I don't know what to expect of Oklahoma. I could see 11-1, but I could also see 7-5 or even 4. Because, you know, there's a new head coach in town, and it takes at least a year to get a system together. Kansas State and Waco on November 12th. Kansas State's going to be a solid football team. I think they might pull an upset off somewhere, but I don't think it's at home. I'm not predicting anything. I'm just saying they are one of those sneaky football teams that's going to be solid. TCU and Waco on November 19th. That is another trap game for me, because the following week is Texas, and not only that, TCU has owned Baylor in football, even during the good years. I mean, 2014, 2019, that's the only 2 times Baylor has beat TCU in the Big 12. Period. This year, they're going to have to do that, beat TCU. First of all, TCU has a new head coach. And no Gary Patterson, though last time when they played him, Gary Patterson got fired, and it still didn't matter. This year, you got to beat TCU. You got to. Especially if you want to get yourself to a college football playoff contender spot. Then there's Texas and Austin on November 26th. I don't think Texas is going to be like a 9-win football team. They'll probably be like 8 wins at most, but they could very well be 4-8 or 5-7. Yes, I'm going to say a possible losing record for them because their schedule is brutal. I just want to give a little preview without any prediction right now, but I will go into detail or what I think is wins and losses later. Anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. Let's get me up to 400 subscribers or more by the end of this year.